This is Dare Iced Coffee Mocha. It looks pretty good. It's like a coffee flavored milk drink. People like to drink this and I don't see why not. It seems like it's fine, no problems whatsoever. But let's take a look at something more detailed that people don't look at. What are the ingredients this thing's actually made of? Now looking at the back, we can see the ingredients, obviously. Now, first ingredient is milk. I could go into a whole thing about grain-fed versus grass-fed milk, but we'll do that in a different video. For this one, I'm only going to look at the last three ingredients. Flavors, vegetable gum 407 and color 150D. So let's start with the very first one there, which is flavors. Now flavors are determined into two categories, natural flavors and artificial flavors. If you don't know the difference between those two, for it to be called a natural flavor, it has to originally be sourced from a vegetable or an animal source, essentially. They extract part of that, whatever that part is, and then mix it with chemicals to create something that simulates flavor when you taste it, the flavor of said item, like chocolate, strawberry, could be anything. Artificial flavors is skipping the plant and animal part, so going straight to the artificial part, the chemical part. So it's something just made of chemicals. A few years ago, there were about 2,000, more than 2,000 actually, different kinds of these flavors. And the company who creates these is at no liberty to actually discuss what the flavors are actually made of. They can pretty much put in whatever they want. Because it's in such small quantities, then the health and food standards around the world don't care what those things are. So they can really put whatever they want in. So if you don't know what you're eating, you don't really want to be eating it. That's the flavors part, but we're going to look at the other two, which go a bit further than that. So this one is called Color 150D, or other names that are fairly common, you would see Caramel 150D. So what this is, it's a caramel colored substance which is created by heating sucrose until it burns basically, which is how you make caramel. And the flavor apparently it gives off is like a burnt sugar sort of flavor, which is what it is. So the main use of this particular coloring is used obviously in brand colorings or caramel flavors. You would find in caramel icings, caramel cakes, or of course in this brown coffee substance milk. But it's also used in brewing spirits and liquors, or liqueurs, or whatever you want to call it. It's used in those because obviously anything to add a caramel or a brown color to stuff. Now the big problem with this particular thing is things that are known about it. It's known to raise blood pressure, so it's not something you want to be having. And it's also a known carcinogen, which means it causes cancer in the body, if you don't know what that means. The other interesting part, well, not an interesting, bad part about the caramel color is it ups up the immune system, which can decrease the immune system's function and opening the doors to cause all kinds of diseases and stuff in the body. Another fact that was found out about this particular caramel color 150 is it can cause negative effects to people who are gluten intolerant for whatever reason that is. So it's something you want to be avoiding at all costs, realistically. If you want to avoid this particular flavoring or coloring, we call it coloring, there's a lot of names it goes by. I'll show you a list here. This is a list of all the other names that it could go by. We got caramel color INS 150D, caramel powder INS 150D, coloring caramel E150D. I've actually seen that a few times. Color 150D, which is in this one. Color INS 150D, caramel color INS 150D, color ammonium sulfite caramel, which is kind of just describing what it actually is. Color E150D, coloring agent E150D. Sounds like I'm reading a list of Mercedes-Benz models. We're up to coloring agent E150D, coloring caramel E150D, natural color caramel E150D, natural color E150D, natural E150D, permitted natural color 150D, permitted natural color E150D, synthetic food color 150D. So obviously, depending on what country you're in, there's many, many different names for it. Looking at the very last one, which could actually be the worst one, vegetable gum 407 is carrageenan, which is made from red or purple seaweed, which sounds fine on the surface. But the problem when you take extracts from vegetables, and particularly seeds, but in this case it's a vegetable, as you start to process it, going through the severe heat processes and stuff it goes through, it can end up bringing out things that shouldn't be brought out in such a way that when you consume it into your body, it causes very, very bad effects in your body. Looking at this one, 407 or carrageenan is known to cause consistent, constant inflammation in the body, which leads to many health problems, from simple stuff, and we shouldn't call it simple stuff because it's still a problem, gastrointestinal problems, so bloating and IBS, Those are the simpler problems and they're still pretty bad problems. But on the other side of things, it can cause much more severe problems in extreme cases such as cancer and diabetes. And that's an interesting one because people wouldn't know that particular one. When it comes to cancer, assume anything artificial is carcinogenic in some way or shape or form whatsoever. But when it comes to other things like diabetes, a lot of these can cause these things which people don't know about. Looking at this particular one, vegetable gum 407, there was a test done, or a study done, on mice to show that carrageenan mixed in their drinking water caused impaired insulin action. And it had a profound effect on glucose intolerance, which resulted in diabetes on them. So looking at these three things, I mean, these are just three of the ingredients in this thing. We don't even talk about where does the milk source from, where does the product source from, where's the sugar sourced from. Just these last three ingredients are going to cause immediately stomach problems and in the long run cancer problems, especially if you're consuming major amounts of these over and over and over again. Even the smallest amount is a lot for your body. If you want to know what that looks like, even things as simple as like seed oils, you want to look at those and look at how many seeds are actually used to create these oils and the process used to create them. That's another video for another day. Looking at this one, flavors, vegetable gum, caramel color, this whole thing in this bottle is just a straight up bottle of cancer and it's just crap overall. Regardless, if you think it tastes nice, it means you've only been eating cheap foods. So take this away, chuck it away, and that's what you can really do with it. Just chuck it away and drink something better. In fact, let's go do that now. Let me smell that. Let's feed it to the drain. Here we go. Drink that.